I have a message from your person that is incredibly important. Please take a deep breath before you continue, because this message carries significant weight. It originates from a place of quiet, distance, and hidden regret, and it is reaching you now because every single moment holds true significance. Hello everyone, and welcome to Psyche. Please remember to subscribe, click the bell icon, and select the option to receive all notifications. Every video shared here has the potential to shift your perspective, often in ways that you might not expect. Your person has been holding on to something inside for a very long time, far longer than they are willing to admit, and much longer than you are likely aware of. They did not simply wake up one day and decide to forget about you. They did not suddenly stop caring or move on as easily as their outward actions suggested. Instead, they concealed emotions they were simply not prepared to face. Hidden feelings do not just disappear. They linger and accumulate until they eventually force their way out. This message is driven by a profound sense of panic rather than a feeling of strength. Your person is not feeling calm or at peace right now. They feel completely lost within their mind, their heart, and their spirit. Something shifted recently. It is possible they saw something that triggered a memory of you, heard your name mentioned, or perhaps their life simply became quiet enough for the truth to resonate loudly. Whatever the specific event was, it acted as a wake-up call for them. They are now coming to terms with a realization that truly terrifies them. They are beginning to understand that they might lose you permanently. This realization did not arrive gently. It struck them late at night when they were unable to provide themselves with any further distractions. During those quiet hours, looking at their phone felt empty, and attempting to laugh with others felt entirely artificial. The silence forced them to confront questions they had been desperately trying to avoid. They noticed something that causes them deep pain. No one else in their world feels quite like you do. No one else listens the way you do or understands them without making them feel judged. Your presence always felt safe without being overwhelming. That was the specific moment they began to feel this sense of urgency. True urgency does not stem solely from love. It originates from the deep fear of losing something that is fundamentally irreplaceable. If your person were able to speak without the heavy burden of fear or pride, they would tell you that they should have taken action much sooner. They genuinely believed they had more time, and they never expected that you would eventually pull away. They failed to realize just how deeply their silence would affect you. They are finally learning that choosing to do nothing is still a choice, and that specific choice is what cost them their closeness with you. They feel profound regret for not being there when it truly mattered, for not speaking up when you needed to hear from them, and for not being brave during the moments when you required the truth. At the time, remaining quiet felt like the safer option, and maintaining distance felt as though they were still in control. They mistakenly believed that avoiding the situation was a sign of strength, but avoidance always carries a heavy price. Your person has a difficult time expressing their feelings. This is not because they do not feel anything deeply, but because they feel too much and simply do not possess the tools to handle those emotions. Opening up felt like it invited the risk of rejection, and allowing themselves to be vulnerable felt like surrendering their power. Admitting how they truly felt meant facing aspects of themselves that they were not yet ready to acknowledge. Carl Jung once suggested that until you make the hidden parts of your mind known to yourself, those hidden factors will continue to control your life, and you will mistakenly label it as fate. Your person lived that reality without fully understanding it. Instead of facing their emotions, they allowed fear and pride to dictate their decisions. They allowed their silence to speak on their behalf. Now those hidden choices have led to outcomes they can no longer ignore. They can clearly feel you changing. This is a very important point. Your person can sense that you are no longer the same person you once were. Your energy is completely different, and your typical reactions have shifted. Your current silence feels much heavier to them than your words ever did. You may still care, but you are no longer chasing them for answers. You are no longer exhausting yourself by explaining your perspective or waiting around in a state of sadness. This terrifies them because they relied on your patience and your kindness far more than they should have. They operated under the assumption that you would always be there, remaining gentle while they remained closed off. They assumed you would always wait, but they never truly believed you would reach a point where you prioritized your own well-being. Now they can feel that shift. What they are truly afraid of losing is not just you, but the specific way you made them feel seen. They are losing the emotional sanctuary that they did not know how to properly cherish. They are realizing that not every connection can be recreated and not every bond can be replaced. They are constantly asking themselves if they ruined the one relationship that actually carried real meaning. This question follows them into their quietest moments and surfaces whenever they try to move on with their lives. It emerges whenever they compare others to you and immediately sense the difference. This is where their sense of urgency comes from. It is not about a need for control, but rather the internal knowledge that time is quickly running out. They feel that if they wait any longer, you will be gone from them emotionally. They feel as though a door is closing, not with a loud slam, but with a quiet, soft shut. That is the most dangerous kind of closure, because once that door is closed, it does not easily reopen. They desperately want to reach out and apologize the right way, without offering excuses. But their fear continues to hold them back. Their fear asks them, what if it is already too late? Or what if you simply do not care about them anymore? So they hesitate, typing out messages only to delete them shortly after. They practice conversations in their mind that never actually take place, while their internal feeling of urgency continues to grow. This message is not a guarantee that everything is going to be fixed. It is a confession. They are admitting that they were wrong to take you for granted, and they are genuinely scared that they have caused you too much pain. Realizing the truth too late is incredibly painful, because it occurs exactly when you no longer hold any control over the situation. What this means for you is what truly matters. This message is not intended to tell you what to do or to ask you to wait. It is simply sharing the truth of their state of mind. You mattered to them far more than they were able to demonstrate, and your absence is now louder than your presence ever was. What you decide to do next is entirely your choice. Power does not need to rush forward simply because someone else is currently experiencing a panic. Most people tend to forget that feeling a sense of urgency does not automatically mean that someone is actually prepared to change their behavior. Your person feels this way because they are finally facing the consequences of how they treated you. Your person is replaying old memories and seeing them through a completely new lens now, a lens of loss instead of a lens of ego. They remember how you used to check on them and how you tried to understand their perspective instead of blaming them. They realize now that you were meeting them at a profound level that they were not yet equipped to handle. Carl Jung often spoke about the heavy burdens we carry from the past, and your person has been living a life defined by their avoidance of emotional maturity. Now they feel completely exposed, even in the midst of your silence. Before, silence felt like convenient space, but now it feels like a vast and painful distance. They sense that you are no longer waiting for them to catch up, or building your daily life around their confusion. They are afraid you have found genuine peace without them, and that you no longer require their answers or a major confrontation. You have simply moved on with your life. This is terrifying to them because they leaned heavily on the idea that you would always be available to them. They see clearly now that you were not asking them for perfection, but merely for them to be present and consistent. They chose their own comfort over the bravery required to be open, and they used the need for space as a convenient excuse to hide away. Being ready for a relationship is a deliberate choice, and they failed to make that choice when you were offering them your heart. That realization hurts deeply because the offer is no longer on the table in the same way it used to be. They feel the distinct shift in how you communicate and how you have stopped trying to prove your worth to them. They expected that you would wait for them forever because you were a gentle person, but they failed to understand that even the most infinite patience has a breaking point. They are now caught in a struggle between wanting you back and being afraid of the actual work it takes to keep you. This is why their energy feels so messy and unsettled. They are not at peace because their current actions do not align with their internal feelings. They imagine a future where they are better versions of themselves, but reality requires them to actually follow through, and that is exactly where their fear stops them in their tracks. They are afraid that even if they tried, they might just let you down all over again. You should be aware that you are no longer waiting for empty words. You are waiting for real, tangible change. You have matured significantly. You have done the difficult work of sitting with your own pain and finding your own clarity. Your person is only just beginning that process now. Even if they do choose to speak, things cannot return to exactly the way they were before, because the nature of your trust has fundamentally changed. They are standing at a threshold. Behind them lies the perceived safety of hiding away, and in front of them lies the daunting risk of being completely honest. They know that if they do nothing, you will be gone from their life. But reaching out requires them to take a long, hard look at themselves. You are sensing a transition happening. Your person is finally facing their own actions, while you are no longer trapped in the middle of it with them. You have moved ahead. Loss often whispers before it eventually screams. Your person hears that whisper clearly now. They feel it the moment they realize they no longer know where they stand with you. They see you moving forward, not out of anger, but out of a clear and steady mind. They are finally facing the truth they tried so hard to run away from. Jung said that whatever you choose to resist will continue to follow you. Your person resisted the depth of your connection and the hard work it required, and now that mounting pressure has become too large to ignore, they are not just afraid of losing you, but they are terrified of what this loss reveals about who they are. They understand now that this was not a matter of bad timing, it was a matter of fear. They remember the various times they could have chosen honesty, but opted to remain quiet instead. Those small, missed moments now carry a tremendous amount of weight. They see now that you did not just walk away, but that you slowly adjusted your life to fit the reality they were giving you. You stopped filling in the emotional gaps for them, and you stopped trading your internal peace for their intermittent attention. You changed quietly and with clear intent. They notice that you no longer lean in or try so hard to be understood. Your current state of calm is what scares them the most, because your calm signals that you have finally made up your mind. You are no longer fighting for things to change. They are learning the hard lesson that they can no longer use their own uncertainty as a tool to keep you waiting. You are standing firmly in your own self-respect, and that simple fact has changed all the rules of the game. They are terrified to reach out because they are still not truly ready. They want to tell you how much they cared, but they understand that reaching the truth too late does not undo the damage that has been done. An apology cannot bring back trust without a genuine change in behavior. They are currently stuck between the person who hides away and the person who is trying to grow. There is no path to growth without experiencing some pain, and they are living through that pain right now. They realize you were like a mirror that showed them their own true potential, and they turned away from it. Now they feel completely disconnected from themselves. They are starting to see that delaying their personal growth does not mean they have avoided it. It simply means that it hurts much more when it finally catches up to them. They admire that you did not fall apart when they walked away. You grew and chose yourself, and that makes them respect you on a much deeper level. They know they cannot come back to you with half-hearted efforts anymore. They are struggling because they do not want to return as the same person they were, but they have no idea who they are without the walls they have built. However, their internal struggle does not mean you are required to open back up. Their sense of panic does not define your value. You have become who you truly are without needing their approval or permission. You are not being cold, you are simply being clear. Evolution naturally changes who we are compatible with. Your person can sense that the version of you who would do anything for them is gone. Perspective comes from moving through deep disappointment, and that process has permanently changed you. Your person knows that you would listen to them calmly now, and that is actually more intimidating to them than anger, because it proves that you are in full control of yourself. You have been transformed, and you cannot undo that progress just to make them feel better about their own choices. They want a connection without having to change the difficult parts of their personality, and that internal tension is what prevents them from taking action. They know you no longer need their excuses to feel okay. You left because simply caring was no longer enough. You needed a partner who was actually present in the relationship. They are grieving the version of you that used to wait for them. This grief is what forces them to be honest, but it also arrives very late in the game. They are beginning to accept their role in the distance that grew between you, but they still do not know if reaching out will help or cause more harm. They are afraid because they know that once the truth is out, they can no longer hide behind their usual defenses. You are no longer someone they can be vague or inconsistent with. You are grounded. Your job is not to save them from their own discomfort or to make things easier for them. Your responsibility is to respect the immense progress you have made. You are not responding to their panic. You are waiting for things to be right. When someone realizes your worth too late, it feels validating to hear, but that is not the ultimate goal. The goal is what you do with your new life. Panic is not the same thing as being ready to be a better person. Do not let empathy pull you back into a situation that was not healthy for you. You reached a place where you stopped waiting and finally started living. Your person feels that you are acting from a place of deep self-trust now. You lived through the loneliness of being with someone who was not really there for you. That experience taught you the difference between a fleeting spark and true safety. Your person is just now learning that a relationship requires real work, not just intense feelings. They are not necessarily a villain, but you are absolutely not responsible for fixing them. You have already chosen yourself. If they eventually speak, you will hear them with a clear head. You will know if they have actually changed, or if they are simply acting out of fear. You do not have to walk backward to help them. This message is here to take away your doubt. You were never asking for too much. You were simply asking for the basics of a healthy relationship. If there is a future for you too, it has to be on your new level. If not, you will keep moving forward with the peace you have found. Walk with respect for yourself. If this helped you, please write the word clarity in the comments to show that you are choosing yourself. Like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Subscribe to stay connected, because the next message will come to you exactly when you need it most. I have one more piece of this message for you, and it carries a truth that might be the hardest for your person to face. Please stay with me, because as your person sits in this silence, they are beginning to realize that the version of you they once knew is gone for good. You have not just moved on, you have been reborn. Your person is watching from a distance as you build a life that no longer has a hole shaped like them. For a long time, they comforted themselves with the idea that they were the main character in your story. They thought that your sadness, your waiting, and your hope were all tied to them. But now they see that the story has continued, and they have become a background character. This realization is a massive blow to their ego, but it is also the very thing that is forcing them to grow. They are seeing that you are happy, not because of them, but because you finally decided that your own happiness was more important than their potential. They miss the way you used to look at them, but they are also deeply intimidated by the way you look at the world now. You have eyes that see through games and a heart that no longer accepts breadcrumbs. Your person is currently wrestling with the fact that they might have been a lesson for you, while you were the missed opportunity for them. They are starting to understand that you did not just give up, you leveled up. This is why their energy feels so heavy right now. They are mourning the loss of the old you, while realizing they are not yet strong enough to meet the new you. They are realizing that love is not a feeling you keep on a shelf and take down whenever you are bored. It is a living thing that requires a safe environment to survive. You took that environment away when they refused to help you build it. As they watch you from afar, they are learning that the greatest form of power is not holding someone's heart while they wait for you. It is being the person who is strong enough to walk away when that heart is not being honored. You have become that person. While they are still stuck in the what-ifs, you are already living in the what-is. The urgency they feel is a sign that they are finally catching up to the reality you accepted months ago. They are finally feeling the weight of the space they left behind. But remember, their awakening is their journey, not your destination. You have already arrived at a place of peace. Keep standing in your truth. Keep honoring your boundaries, and keep moving toward the light of your own growth. You have done the hard work, and now the universe is simply aligning the rest of the world with the version of you that knows your own worth. I have one final piece of this message for you, and it carries a truth that might be the hardest for your person to face. Please stay with me, because as your person sits in this silence, they are beginning to realize that the version of you they once knew is gone for good. You have not just moved on, you have been reborn. Your person is watching from a distance as you build a life that no longer has a hole shaped like them. For a long time, they comforted themselves with the idea that they were the main character in your story. They thought that your sadness, your waiting, and your hope were all tied to them. But now they see that the story has continued, and they have become a background character. This realization is a massive blow to their ego, but it is also the very thing that is forcing them to see the truth. They are seeing that you are happy, not because of them, but because you finally decided that your own happiness was more important than their potential.